I'm gonna just tell this one story, just to tell you my fuck ups that I had early on. Well, not early on, but once I learned and started actually applying things, um, I messed up, right? And I did some damage to some things, right? Dealing with electrical. So there was a hallway, probably spanned, this hallway had to be a good 80, about 80 yards in total of hallway, right? And the light fixtures were 2x2. There was a drop ceiling, 2x2 light fixtures. You know, drop ceiling's very easy to change things over. We were going from 2x2 fluorescent T8 tube lighting to those 2x2 flat panels, that are very popular, where you can change the Kelvin, you can change the wattage, and got three different settings. You can change, so upgrading lighting basically is what I was doing. Um, this is my second time doing that much. I've done a fixture here, a fixture there, but as far as just running the whole thing, uh, getting my MC cable and popping them things in. That was the first time I actually, or the second time I actually did a run like this. And basically, what you're doing, popping the old light out, popping the old fluorescent light out, getting that 2x4 panel, getting you a 2x4. It's really an outlet box that I use, but it's more like a junction outlet box, 2x4 outlet box with knockouts on it, with a chase nipple that goes down into the bay of where the for like it's like a driver. It's not really a ballast. It's more like a driver. Knock it out. Put that 2x4 MC cable in, MC cable out. You're daisy chaining. You're going. You're going. You're going. Um, till you get to the switch leg, then you got to work on that. But so I'm doing this right. I'm going down, putting my junctions, putting my panel, junction, panel, MC cable. Junction and MC cable is just flexible 12-2 or 12-3 gauge cabling to get the electrical there, Zip tying things every now and again. They got little metal clips that you can use to the rod that you could snap to the rods of the drop ceiling. I'm going MC, going down. I think it got it done, right? I think I got everything figured out. Okay. After a couple of the fixtures, I'm turning it on, turning it off just to see if it works. Okay, let me turn the breaker back off. Let me continue. So turns out I finished. And I think at this point I was working with a crew of two, in which the one of the guys, he's a little more experienced than the other two guys. Ours is a team of three, four including me. So one of the guys, he was, I would say he's much more knowledgeable than the other two guys that we were working with. But so yeah, I turn it on, lights flickering, just boom, light on, off, off, on, off, on, off. Just it reminded me of the lights was like they was dancing, lights dancing. So it's like, what the hell is going on? Just lights dancing everywhere. And I had my guy downstairs, man, cut the breaker off, man, something wrong. And I got to poking around here, poking around there. And one thing, the most important part about doing work like this is not getting lax. When I say lax, like when you get those 3 wire nuts and you're twisting them and you're doing that over and over again, you can kind of get lax. And I don't have those fancy tools from TikTok that you see where you just put 3 wires in the drill bit and it does, and you put the wire in up. No, I'm sitting here twisting all of these things down. Maybe I need to look into that. I never had one before, but so come to find out, um, it's always usually in something like this is connectivity. And when I say connectivity, there's one wire. One wire. You got to check every single junction on that circuit from the farthest point that you started working at to where you're at now. And that's basically what I had to do. Started at the farthest point, and work my way back. I mean, and that's the thing about electrical. Nobody told me that's what I had to do, but you got to think about things very logically, as this was working perfect before I touched it. From where I started touching it and changing things, start from right there, go through each junction, and just do a pull test on all the wires. So you got a wire nut, 3 wires in the wire nut. Single them out, each one. Hold the wire nut and pull the wire. Next, pull the wire. Next, pull the wire. And I found one neutral. One stinking neutral. I think it was about the 6th light fixture. And these light fixtures are probably, if you got a drop ceiling 2x2, they're probably every 6. So that would be about every 4. About every 6 to 8 feet, there's a fixture. So I got to about the 6th light fixture, or maybe 5th. I can't remember. Excuse me. And I'm doing my pull test on everything that I've touched just to check for connectivity. And I had this one neutral wire. The neutral wire is what brings it makes the loop for the power. If that neutral is not on that thing, it's not gonna successfully make its round to that breaker box, right? So, and that's just how electrical works. You know, black line in that thing. It's a constant circuit, you know, of electricity. And without that neutral, that comment on there correctly, yes, I you know, pull test, got to that 5th one, pull test, and I just held the wire nut and boop, it just popped out. The other 2 were on, but that neutral that carried the power further, it was off. So these lights, these LED lights, in which they're pretty cheap, I'm gonna just say it right now. Some of these LED lights, they're not gonna last as long as we think they are, especially in commercial building settings where these things are on damn near 18 hours a day. Anyway, I digress. So it turns out, after I found it out, okay, boo, 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 told my man, hey, turn the breaker back on. Boom. Light switch, boom. Everything's on, everything's solidly lit. There's no flickering or budging of the light, you know, so you know that you got a strong connection now. But, and this is what I'm talking about, I did some damage, because these LED panels, if there is no neutral to escape, they will blow out and never work again. So basically, I mean, was it about 4 or 5 light fixtures that didn't work because of my mistake, which, you know, each of these things, I can't remember, man. They 80, 60 to $100 a piece, whatever, however much damage. The lesson was learned simply because I got lax when I was going through my rounds, you know, staying diligent as far as just the simple basics. Tying a wire nut. Every time that wire nut and you tie multiples in a wire nut, pull on it. Just pull on it. Just give it a tug. Toop, toop. Because the simplest thing like that will stop fires, will stop a lot of things. You could have that one little strand. And you know, some of these buildings, they weren't solid cables. Of course, the MC that I get is solid MC cable, but you know, they're strands, and you got solid with a strand, or you got two solids with the stranded wire original to the building, and you're sitting here twisting a wire nut. The strand is just sitting there, just sitting there dangling, and the two solids are twisting inside. So that's every single time, man. I learned my lesson. That didn't happen again, but that was a lesson I had to learn. Like that's the beauty of the trades, is that you're gonna learn your lessons. If someone's teaching you or not, you're gonna learn these lessons. I was taught. I came apprenticed in under somebody who he was a carpenter, but he knew all the other trades as well. And that's who I kind of apprenticed under. He retired, and now I do my thing. But I've learned a ton, man. Trying to think of some other situations.